like my mic is muted and I'm back. Hello. Hey, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. I'm going to make sure that all of the audio and things are good. Um, have that come out of there. There we go. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Maryland Cannabis. It is week 2. We are here. I am here every Friday morning through the end of March, giving you our Maryland Cannabis updates. What's going on? I mean, we've got a lot of things happening in our region, a lot of things happening in our world in general. But if you are here, you happen to be catching the replay, somebody sent you this link, you have no idea what's going on. Let me be the first to tell you hello. I am Keisha. I am the CEO of Explore Maryland Cannabis. It is my true honor and privilege to be able to serve this community in this way. And if you aren't familiar with who Explore Maryland Cannabis is, we are a community membership and outreach organization dedicated to building a community in the cannabis ecosystem here in Maryland. So we've been in business for about 3 years now. We are coming up in our 4th year, and this is our first quarter of 2022. So this is new. I just wanted to have a way to come to the audience to talk to you all about what's happening in Maryland cannabis, because there's a lot happening. It's a lot happening in our region. It's a lot happening just in general. So I'm going to parse back down to this lovely presentation, and we may or may not have a special guest today, but I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with this presentation, which is an upgrade from last week. Let's talk about the upgrades that happen when you take the time and set the intention. So first things first, every Friday through March, I will be here talking to you about cannabis in community, in addition to all of the things that we have going on at Explore Maryland Cannabis. It got my handy dandy water because I want to stay hydrated. If you are elevating, make sure you stay hydrated, because this is the season that you don't want to get sick. So, yeah, I'm so excited to be here today. Man, it has been a long week between the snow, between um, the warm front that we had, and then it was just been crazy. So it's also been a short week for most because of the federal holiday. Martin Luther King Day was on Monday, and that was the time where everybody decided to spout their quotes, leaning towards their agenda. But anyway, I digress. We are here. We made it to Friday. If you are watching this in the future, you made it too. So hopefully that by the time we'll be doing some things in person. So let's talk a little bit about what's new, right? So we have an ecosystem model, which you can kind of see on most of our material. We serve 6 segments of the ecosystem. That's patients, professionals, our businesses, our providers, our industry, and our government. We believe that all 6 of those segments work in harmony, can work in harmony for the greater good of our ecosystem. And so we are doubling down on that initiative by presenting to you pathways to cannabis. So just like those 6 segments, there are 6 different pathways to cannabis, and we'll be talking about those 6 pathways over the next 6 weeks. But in the meantime, I just want to let you all know that you will see our content online and socially shift a bit as we center ourselves in this new era of what we are building. Before I jump deep into this presentation, if you happen to be watching live, we're using an amazing product called StreamYard, which allows us to place these comments that show up on the screen right on the screen. So go ahead, drop your comments, drop your feedback. Let us know where you're watching from. If you happen to be watching live, if you happen to be watching via the replay, go ahead and just drop replay, and I will make sure that I highlight those comments as they come in. So, like I mentioned, pathways to cannabis, our content will center directly on providing those pathways. Like I mentioned, those 6 segments, and we're really excited to see that manifest over the next 12 months. Also, we launched an initiative last year around the cannabis workforce. So If you happen to be looking for a job, if you happen to be employed in the cannabis ecosystem, do know that we believe in an equitable and informed cannabis workforce for all. So, no matter what your legal age is, your gender, your sexual orientation, your age, all of those are important. And we believe that there's a place for you in the cannabis workforce. We're committed to helping the industry reach that goal. So, our industry here, helping folks to get employed and stay employable this year. Let me go ahead and go full frame. We are committed to getting 100 folks employed and employable through our workforce development program that we have. But stay tuned as more information about that is released. Like I mentioned, we have a robust workforce initiative. If you are looking to get prepared to enter into the cannabis workforce, be sure to check out all of our resources that come out from our brand. And you just hit our website, exploremarylandcannabis.com. That is your one-stop shop for all things cannabis workforce in Maryland specifically. And we've got a bit of a treat coming up for you. We did this, let's see if I can move my face here, but you all can see. We did a little bit of this last year. We'll be doing live these live sessions, these live workshops, live challenges quarterly. And the first one coming up is our Inquired to Hired series, which will be live January 24th through the 28th on YouTube. So if you happen to be following us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our page so that you know when we go live, because not only will we be doing a live series around the workforce next week, but we'll be doing a bit of a membership open house. So you'll get a taste of what it's like to be a member of our Explorers crew. So, Inquire to Hired series is next week, January 24th through the 28th. Be there because we'll be looking for you. Another way to stay plugged into what we have going on is by joining our monthly newsletter. So we send out a monthly newsletter each Monday or each month on the 30th through the 5th. So it's between those dates. We're solidifying an actual date by the end of the month. But if you are not already on our list, join hundreds of others who are getting the monthly Maryland cannabis updates. All things that's happening in Maryland, we deliver to you on a monthly basis, in addition to some other things throughout the month. But staying tapped in, staying locked in through our email list is the best way to find us. And I'm going to go ahead and drop that link for those who watched last week. I'm prepared, y'all. Drop this link here so that you can sign up for our email list. And I'll make sure that these links are in the description box of this video so that you have easy access, just in case you may be watching this while you're driving or, while you're doing something where you can't quite hit the link. So, season 2 is in full swing of our podcast series. This week, we dropped Coach Ash's episode talking a bit about the winning formula, which is her story. So, I've got a little bit of a treat for those who are not a part of our Explorers crew. They get the full video of what happens. But for y'all, since it is the month of connecting the community, it's the year of connecting the community, and it's the month of talking a bit about the journey, I have a little bit of a treat for the video for y'all. So let me share my screen and get you all the clip that I want y'all to see. Let's see. Make sure sometimes I forget to share the audio. Hold, please. All right, there we go. It's all aligned. All right, y'all ready? Here we go. Talking about more of the business side of what you are doing, right? As far as the cookbook, your business partner, the catering piece, how do you navigate that scene, especially with cannabis being such a highly regulated industry, right? Marketing is hard, advertising is hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it is. It's very challenging. and unfair in a lot of ways. But we just have to continue to adapt and push through. And so we identify the ways that we're able to leverage or market on our own without having to do any kind of ads and different things like that. And word of mouth has been really powerful for us. So people that have either purchased the book or who've attended events, seen us on podcasts or different things like that. I think with our focus, being able to provide value and education, even with the cookbook, it's not just a cookbook. In the beginning sections, we have educational sections where we're teaching people about the CB1 receptors that we all have in our body. We're teaching people about the difference between CBD and THC. We're teaching them about dosage and how everybody's body reacts differently. And so I think with the approach that we have of providing education and just providing a different perspective, we're not trying to convince anybody that, hey, this is for you and this is what you should do, because it's not for everybody. But we want to be able to just help shed light on the a new perspective, something that we weren't necessarily conditioned to think and believe, that what this is what cannabis is.
All right. So, like I mentioned, our memberships, they get that full video. And shout out to Coach Ash. I was so happy to interview her. Like I'm always excited to interview folks because talking about what you do in the industry is important, especially if, say, for instance, you were me a couple of years ago, right? You were in a job that didn't quite serve you. You weren't quite making the impact that you thought you should make. And talking a bit about that transition, seeing the representation, and even seeing folks who are active in the industry is amazing. So shout out to Coach Ash. This was a great interview. I dropped the link to the episode, but you can find the episode in all places where podcasts are streamed. So also, if you aren't a part of our email gang, this month we are 22% off of our merch. So I've got our sweatshirt here. Blah, blah, blah. We got I actually have the actual shirt on as well. But 22% off gets you all of our Explore Maryland Cannabis merch. You can go to our website to get that link, and we would love your support. You can show your support through the merch. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. So let's talk about it because it's session time now. It's session time now. We've got some amazing bills. We got some amazing legislation that has been talked about, but let's talk about what's actually been entered into the systems thus far. So, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, the legislative session, which happens every year, it's like a 3-month period where our legislators work their butts off to get the bills of their communities passed. So, we've had a few folks who have been doing some talking about supporting the cannabis industry. And if you followed our work last year, we were very, very excited for HB 32's bill presented by Delegate Jazz Lewis, which neither bills which that were interested by any parts of the House or the Senate for cannabis legalization went through. But as you all know, folks have been talking. Folks have been talking. Folks have been moving. Folks have been watching the states around us, Virginia. Folks have been watching the states above us, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Maine, Rhode Island, putting in full Pennsylvania, putting in full adult use cannabis legalization bills, and actually getting that input from the community. So I did a quick little search on our Maryland General Assembly's website, which is where they list all their bills. If you are looking for a way to figure out what's happening, there's a video on our channel that I'll link in the description box. But I got a special guest on the line, but before I bring up the special guest, let's talk about these 4 bills that we have on the docket, right? So, as of today, we've got Delegate Clippinger's bill, which is HB 001. Everyone knows, has seen, that's the one that's preferred coming out of the legalization work group. We've got the hemp industry member, which is another bill that was HB 75. This is a reintroduction from last year. We've got hemp that is growing and being researched, industrial hemp, on a lot of our college campuses in Maryland. So they're really trying to form a robust industry around hemp. Shout out to University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Okay, just point blank period. Shout out to our HBCUs that's doing the work. Morgan State. Just shout out. All right. The third bill is Senate Bill 286. That is firearms and the use of medical cannabis. This bill comes up all the time, and unless some things change on the federal level, which we hope, right? This bill probably won't move too far because the restrictions that are placed on firearms for medical patients are deemed from the federal level. And last but certainly not least is the income tax bill that's around our growers, processors, dispensaries, our independent testing laboratories. And basically, this bill is very similar to the bill that was put into place last year around this time. As you all know, and if you don't know, running a cannabis based business is super expensive. You can't get the tax write offs for employees, products, things like that because of cannabis's legal status. So this bill is hoping to correct that on the state level. I think a lot of communication has to happen around what that looks like because at the end of the day, people don't necessarily know how to support what's going on if they can't quite bring it together. So I entitled this section 444, which is a great number for me. It's also the 444th legislative session. It started last Wednesday. I want to say it started last Wednesday, and not much movement has happened, right? Annapolis is pretty quiet. It's also been pretty cold. We're coming off of a federal holiday. And so it's going to be very interesting to see what exactly this legislative session is going to look like because of the conversation around reform, around the legalization status that's happening in Maryland, around home grow. And once again, I am going to state for the record that Explore Maryland Cannabis is only supporting legalization bills that have home cultivation protections in that bill. There's no reason that a patient shouldn't be able to grow the plant in their home, especially when the product varies from grower to dispensary based on shelf life, based on curing, based on just processes that happens when cannabis is cultivated. So just for the record, any legislators that hit me up do know this. We only support home grow over here, among other things. So I'm hoping that our guest is ready. If not, we will keep it rolling. Looks like they are. I'm gonna bring them on up and get it going. Boom, boom. All right.
Hey, what's going on,
Hey,
Keisha?
how are you? How are you? Thank you so much, Councilman Martin Mitchell, for joining us.
Happy
Friend,
Friday.
friend, happy Friday. Listen, it's been a long week, but
Yes,
also a good
yes,
one.
absolutely.
So I'm so glad that you're joining us. I wanted to get your perspective as we move into this legislative session, not only from our state level to a local level, because we all know that local politics is where it all starts, right? The movement happens on a local level. So I'd love to get your perspective on some of your expectations for this session, maybe some of the movements that's happening in your jurisdiction, and yeah, just share a few words. We'd love
Uh,
to hear from you.
okay, sure. Well, as you mentioned, HB1, the referendum is going to be big. Um, from my understanding, the most recent understanding is, there's not a hearing date on it yet. They're waiting for more cannabis bills to drop to set a hearing date for the HB1, which would be the referendum. So that would be the ballot measure, and it would be on the ballot in November. The thought is, and of course, polling and what we've seen in other states is there's a majority of people who support legalization for adult use, and I think what you said is very important because I, like many other people, want to see responsible adult use happen in the state of Maryland, but we also want to see certain things in the forefront of the conversation in terms of equity and inclusion. Sure, you've mentioned home growth. home cultivation. But of course, what's important and coupled with that is the amount of cottage business licenses that they allow. So the thought is not everyone has a million plus to start a dispensary. So that's why these cottage business licenses are very important. And as you said, we need protection, for the home cultivators. Um, and one of the big things for me is, of course, making sure that we have the automatic expungements, making sure that we have, a fund model set up that basically would ensure that the people hit hardest by the war on drugs, have a way into the industry, into the legal market. So that is, of course, something big. But one of the things I know, I didn't see the bill on there. Of course, I think it's still being written, but I know Senator Carter is focusing on a bill. Senator Jill P. Carter, so she's working on a bill to be coupled with the referendum, essentially, and it's rooted in equity and inclusion. She's working with the ACLU to develop the bill. And I know at the forefront of hers is the expungements, the home cultivation. Um, so I'm really really excited to see her bill. From my understanding, there's going to be another bill in the Senate. From you remember last year's one of last year's sponsors, Senator Brian Feldman. I was told that he's going to have a cannabis bill. So we will see what equity and inclusion looks like in his bill. And for me, I just want to make sure that we continue the conversation on legalization. We actually take tangible take tangible steps this year, but we don't forget that we want equity and inclusion. And even when this next board is created or something like that is created, we want to make sure that, hey, there's more black and brown people on this board. you know so you got putting that at the forefront. Whoever's creating these boards, putting that at the forefront.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I mean, while there are a couple of people of color who serve on the Medical Cannabis Commission, Maryland Medical Cannabis Commission, um, there's nobody necessarily under the age of 35, right? There are no patients. There needs to be a little bit more of diversity, and I think that with adult use, like you mentioned, it just needs to look a little bit more like the actual community that is serving, right?
Absolutely.
And shout out to State Senator Jill P. Carter. We love her. She's the people's champ, and I hope that whatever bill or information that she introduces to help move this forward, like you said, does not have social equity or inclusions for folks who are looking to get into the industry from the legacy market.
Mm-hmm.
It's super important. So I think that once again we've got to support our individuals who are running, who are pushing these things through, because it's thankless work. You know what it is, especially your trajectory getting into the position you're in, right?
Yes, of
So
course. No, I mean,
um
definitely. And one of the things that I saw on that list was of course the I think it was a bill by Senator Ho about the,
mhm,
the firearms. Because as you
mhm,
know, that's a big thing. Being a medical patient and not being able to get your firearms license or your handgun license.
mhm.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
so
That's like I said that earlier. I said that's a federal thing, and I'm hoping that with adult use, that's just
mhm,
like a preemptive type of thing, right? So like as we roll whatever comes down the pipeline, that's already there, so you don't have to worry about all the paperwork that comes with you know
sure,
pushing
sure,
stuff back. So I don't want to hold you because I know that you're a busy man, and I've got lunch with my membership in a couple of minutes. But I
of
do
course.
have some things coming up that you have. Oh no, I do see that you have some things coming up. So let us know as I pull this graphic up how we can support some of the initiatives and items that you have coming up down the pipeline.
Sure. So I don't know if you were present last year. I think you were when we did the legalization town hall. Prince George's County Young Dems and Marion Man. Were you were on the call? I think you were.
I was.
But
That's how I figured out who you were. I was like,
oh, that was
Marcus' brother know what you're talking
that's
about.
where we met. Okay, look at that.
Yes.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
look,
So
full circle.
no, it's that time of year. So we're planning another one. I just got off of the phone with Hope Wiseman of Marion, Maine. One of the youngest dispensary owners. But yeah, so we're planning another one, and I was talking to MD Normal yesterday. So hopefully you guys would participate and be a part of it. A sponsor, a partner. Um, so that's of course something to watch out for, and that's going to be in February. We haven't set a date yet, but the thought is it's going to be similar to last year, where it's sometime before Lobby Day or a big bill hearing to peak interest. Um,
Nice,
so
nice.
so yes, and I also spoke to Connor Sheffield. So hopefully, he's
Yeah,
involved. I know he was very excited about the idea, and I was excited to meet another advocate. I had heard Connor's story for several years, but I'd finally met him recently. So that
yeah,
was pretty cool. And we also this Sunday we have a food distribution. So we have a food distribution where we'll be giving out vegan food, but also produce and fresh fruits from a couple grocery stores, and we'll also have COVID testing and boosters or vaccines if anybody needs it, and a resource table. And the resource table is important because a lot of times people don't know where to look for resources. So we will have a resource table of information of resources right here in our community and neighboring
nice.
communities.
Yes, I love it. I actually have that graphic and it's not pulling up, but I will make sure that I get that flowing on our socials and when
Yeah,
this
share it
goes
out.
out that it's
Share it
there.
out.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
absolutely.
community. It's community. Yes.
I love that you do the work. Like, there's a lot of folk who talk the talk, but you, I mean, even before you got into the position, right? And even before you won the position,
Yes. Yes.
you've
I
been
was doing the
doing the
work
work.
long before I was elected.
So,
Yes. Yes.
and you're still doing the work. So, however, like I said, however we can support you, however we can keep the momentum going, let me know. Shoot me any sponsorship information that you need because I got you. So,
Yes. I appreciate you and I appreciate y'all doing the work for the ecosystem.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, let me go ahead and let you go. I'm gonna wrap this up
All right.
and stay
Much
safe.
love.
I'll see you soon. Peace. All right, y'all. I'm so super blessed to have Councilman Martin Mitchell on. Like I mentioned, let me see if I can get his flyer up one last time. You know how the QP it's not acting right. So I'll make sure that this flyer is up when we are done. But last but certainly not least, let me go through our last few bits of things that we have. Our members are super loved on. They're getting a resource called Goal Setting for 2022. We're all about goal setting and getting our plans and initiatives and things moving. So, if you are interested in learning more about goal setting, we've got a beautiful goal setting worksheet that will be available to you today. That will be going out to our email subscribers and it'll be posted on our socials. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for that. Also, next week we've got a game night. I'm sure I'll talk a bit more about that next Friday, but just go ahead, save the date. It is January 29th at 7 p.m., which is next Friday. We've got prizes, we've got giveaways. We don't have we I got cash, but I'm gonna make sure that we are getting the amazing things that you need to be able to have a real good fun time. It's hard, because sometimes folks don't talk about how much fun it is when you are with a group of folks that you have no idea who they are. So we've got a game night next month or a game night next week. The theme is Canna Jobs. So if you happen to be in the industry, if you are not in the industry, if you're looking to be in the industry, come out to our public game night. It's $5. If you're a member, though, it is free. On Saturdays, we do Small Business Saturdays. If you happen to be a small business in the cannabis industry, go ahead, reach out to us. We spotlight you locally, local business and regional businesses on YouTube. And that is it, y'all. That is it. 30 minutes on the dot. I'm so happy, so excited, so proud that we were able to do this. Like I said, we will be here every Friday at 11 o'clock give or take 10, 15 minutes. You know, technology. Every Friday through the end of March, giving you the Maryland cannabis updates, bringing you guests from around our ecosystem, and dropping the knowledge to help you be amazing. All right. Be sure to join our email newsletter. The link is in the comments there. It'll be in the descriptions as well. And folks, stay safe, stay sane, wear your mask, and I will see y'all next week. Peace.